podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
The Big G, Tokyo Town, StompDown.
Hey everybody, we're back with another edition of the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm TC Kirkham, brought to you by Subject Cinema, eCinemaOne, and Kaiju Corner on Patreon. Celebrating 31 days of Godzilla all through the month of May as we count down to the legendary films. Not remake, it's a brand new film of Godzilla King of the Monsters coming out on May 31st, which she's just like squealing about all the time.
Yes!
It's not bad enough how you squeed for a month about Endgame. We're going to have to find something for you to squeal about every month, and we can do these all the time.
Endgame, I don't know, I don't really think I was squeeing about Endgame. It was just, you have to fix this or else my brain is going to explode! And they did up to a point.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen Endgame
We're not going to give you any spoilers. No. And by the way, don't watch the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer if you haven't seen the movie.
If you haven't seen Endgame, don't,
Anyway, let's get back to Godzilla.
Yes.
And actually, I bring that up because this movie is the Avengers of Godzilla movies. At least it certainly seems like it. We're up to 1968's Destroy All Monsters.
Yes.
Is it known as Destroy All Monsters in America? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Because it's the Avengers of the Godzilla movies. Because throughout the film, we see Godzilla, Minya, Mothra, Rodan, Gorosaurus. Sorry. I'm not the G fanatic that you guys are. Anguirus and Kumanga, plus King Ghidorah.
You forgot Manda.
Manda's not listed, but that's okay. So there's a whole ton of these guys coming together.
How could you forget about Manda? Didn't Barry Manilow write a song about him?
No, that was Mandy.
Oh.
Nice try, though.
Darn.
Anyway, and boy, oh man, oh my goodness, carbon dating. Anyway.
I love you too, damn it.
Hey, I'm older.
Yes, you are.
I got an even bigger carbon dating footprint.
Yes, you are.
So let's get into. I have to admit, I don't think I've seen this except for the last 10 or 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Well, you saw the retread. I don't want to say retread. That's not nice. If
re-edited, was it re-edited?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying Godzilla Final Wars is basically this movie throwing in kind of an X-Men Matrix kind of.
Well, we're not talking about Final Wars. I'm talking about this.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but I have seen the last 15 minutes of this.
All right.
We'll talk about Final Wars in a couple weeks.
Destroy All Monsters it's set at the close of the 20th century. So, whenever that in the future,
1909X, like they do on other
I don't
ones.
think they did it in that. I don't think they did it with this. And somehow, I don't entirely know if they explain how. I don't recall. All of the monsters that live on Earth have been rounded up by the United Nations Science Committee, whatever the hell that is, and they are all in one area. They've put them on one island, which is known as Monsterland.
In future movies, it's called Monster Island.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Because Monsterland sounds too much like a Disney
theme
attraction.
Park, yeah.
Sounds like a Disney attraction gone horribly wrong.
What was the one in Gappa? Playboy Land, wasn't it?
Something like that,
yeah. I was like, really?
What?
And then, of course, we just watched this thing about these, like a Brazilian-themed park in Japan. I'm like, what? Okay. They're crazy with their theme parks over there. Anyway.
This island is located in the island chain of Osagawa. Osagawara, I think, sorry. I probably messed that all to hell. I'm sorry.
Ogasawara island chain, yeah.
And there is a control center that's located under the island, and they the monsters are all kept on the island by manipulation and stuff like that of like natural, weather and things like that because, and other things keeping them on the island so that they can also be studied by the people from the science committee. Okay. Before we go any further, Kim has to call timeout. This is one of the, and I know they've done Monster Island in later movies, and Monster Island looks big enough that you wouldn't have monsters running into each other, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And so does this island, I guess. But I'm sorry, this is the stupidest thing I've ever, this right here is a prime example of what I had a problem with the movie, Snakes on a Plane. Now, the reason I bring that up is because the whole thing of Snakes on a Plane was that these snakes get released on a plane and kill a bunch of people, and Samuel L. Jackson gets to swear. But my whole thing with that was that you had these snakes all in one big box, and then they were released. Yeah. And I'm going, that snake would have eaten that snake would have eaten that snake, and those snakes would have completely eaten those snakes.
You know something, honey?
What?
It's just a movie. I should really just relax. Anyway.
My whole point is that these monsters would have all killed each other before anybody was able to research anything.
No, they're all buddies.
What?
They're all buddies. They get together, play volleyball, and, shuffleboard. Bocce ball? Chess? Okay, never mind. Anyway. I'm about to get killed, so I'm going to shut up now.
Karaoke night, I believe, but anything else is just silly. It's going to be one of those shows, folks. All of a sudden, the connection with Monsterland, the communications have been cut off.
Dun, dun, dun!
And the monsters actually show up off the island all over the world, and they've gone berserk. They're attacking places they've never been before, which, doesn't make any sense because they have no reason to go and attack certain places. I mean, Godzilla shows up in New York, starts wrecking the place, not that anyone would have noticed in the 60s in New York, but...
parts of New York they would have noticed. Other parts they wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. As long as they trashed Yankee Stadium, I don't care.
Rodan and it does Moscow.
Yeah.
Mothra's offspring larva.
Yeah, Mothra's the larva in this.
Another one? It must have had another larva?
I guess so.
Lays waste to Beijing Gorosaurus. I don't know who Gorosaurus is.
He didn't feature in a lot of films. Neither did Manda, to be honest with you.
Destroys Paris, and there's Manda attacking London. Okay,
yeah.
So anyway.
Although I really wish they had used Manda more, because I just thought he looked cool. Big snake, sea serpent kind of thing. As it turns out, all of this stuff is happening because aliens.
Of course.
Well, yeah. Well, blaming fairies would have been silly. It turns out that there are these aliens called the, I'm going to mess this up, Kilax. I think I'm not how to
I think that's right,
Kilax.
Actually, it looks like it's Kilak.
Yeah, there's 2 A's in there, so I have no idea how to pronounce it. They're all these very, benign-looking women. They say that they have kidnapped the monsters and slipped mind control on discs onto them or something. And their whole thing is that, people of Earth surrender or we're gonna turn these monsters loose everywhere and they're gonna kill everybody and we'll just take your planet anyway. So, as TC mentioned, all the monsters have gone all over the world, and we see, shots of, monsters here, monsters there, everything's getting wrecked, and people are flipping the frog out. I do think having Rodan show up in Moscow is stupid, again. I would think Moscow would be too cold for a flying creature like Rodan, who's obviously a reptilian creature, but what do I know?
During the summertime.
Well,
Moscow is pretty much on a same parallel as New York. So
now we find out there is a reason for the aliens to send the monsters all over other places as opposed to just Japan. You think it's that they'd usually just have them just stomp Japan into pudding, but as it turns out they actually have a plan in regards to that. The idea.
What plan would that be, Brian?
The idea was having these monsters in other parts of the world was a distraction. It was a ploy so that the aliens could build their base, which is an underground, base. near Mount Fuji. So everybody else is
see that? There we go. There we got the right thing, because Mount Fuji is a volcano. So the aliens have built into a volcano. Which is, remember, we said this in another show.
Yes, we have an evil lair in a volcano.
Right. Well, I'm just
Are
saying.
you happy now?
I'm just saying.
You
gotta have these continuity things going on here.
Okay.
You know?
Every once in a while, he gets militant about stuff, and I just have to humor him. So anyway,
I want Godzilla versus Hellcow. You shouldn't have said the word militant. Anyway, go ahead.
People of the world, if I haven't mentioned it before, there are a few things in life I really, really regret. One of them is never
regret?
Never seeing Queen with Freddie Mercury as a front man. I regret that.
Yep, me too.
I regret not seeing Def Leppard when Steve Clark was still alive. And I regret ever telling you about Hellcow.
You didn't tell me.
Well,
one of your silly little comic shows on YouTube
I regret showing you that YouTube about strange Marvel characters because for some reason he got fixated on Hellcow. It's really unattractive and borderline creepy. Stop it! Anyway, back to Godzilla, the focus point here.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So the aliens now decide they're going to attack Tokyo, and they've really gotten the idea that they're going to just be able to take over and everything's going to be, fine. So the problem is that the people from the United Nations Science Committee, or UNSC, we're just going with that because it's too friggin' long the other way.
UNSC.
UNSC. That's terrible. They get a hold of the devices that have been used by the aliens to control the monsters, and they get them from, everywhere. And they wind up finding they switch the broadcasting on those to the, from a base that they have on the moon, and the crew of a ship from Earth destroys the aliens' base on the moon and come back to Earth, and they've got the thing that actually controls, the monsters and all this stuff like that. So the thing is, now all of the monsters are no longer under the control of the aliens. They are under control of the Earthmen. Yay.
Yay.
I'm like, I'm not really sure if this is...
Yay.
Well, I'm just kind of like, I don't, can't you just, smash it and let the monsters do what they want? Free will and all that, but that's just me, and I'm an earthy, crunchy hippie, I know. So the aliens are like, okay, fine, you want to start playing rough? We can play rough too. And they reveal their weapon that they've been keeping off to the side until they need him. Spoiler alert, they need him.
Or it.
Or they. They?
They?
Well, it's got 3 heads.
Oh, okay.
So, and their weapon is, surprise, King Ghidorah, the only other monster who has not been in the movie so far. So they have Ghidorah go to the base at Mount Fuji to keep, to keep them safe, because that's where they're located. And he winds up fighting pretty much all of the monsters all at once. And for a while, it's a really awesome fight, because I love stuff like this, because it's just me.
It's smash him up, step on him.
Yeah, it's just monsters beating the hell out of each other, and that tends to put Kim in her happy place.
Well, that's what a lot of kaiju fans are looking for.
You don't want to know what else puts me in there.
No, you don't. Trust me.
Hey! It's nothing illegal. Calm down. But Ghidorah winds up being eventually overwhelmed by, the combined fact that you've got all of these monsters that are all like, okay, we're going to kick your ass and your ass exclusively. And
they break his ankles.
No, they kill him.
Well, that's no fun. Now you made me lose my joke. Thanks.
What joke?
Well, I said break his ankles, and you're supposed to go, what do you mean? I'm like, they defeated him. Can you tell I'm operating on 2.5 hours sleep last night? Okay, anyway.
But you do have to give them credit, though. I mean, that's one of the first times they actually ever showed anybody giving head in a movie that's not an R-rated.
Smack on you, family show.
Well,
anyway,
no, his 3 heads. That's what did you think I meant?
She said heads.
Huh.
So there.
That's a different sort of movie.
Okay. Enough.
What?
Enough. You can't see her. I can.
Lucky you.
That evil little devious smile her mother talks about all the time. Anyway.
Y'all don't have to give a person a complex.
Continue.
Anyway, so now the thing is, so Ghidorah's dead, yay, but the aliens are still out there, so that's obviously not a good thing. And so the aliens, who are apparently a bunch of sore losers, have decided, well, okay, fine. As it turns out, Ghidorah wasn't our ultimate weapon. Here's our ultimate weapon right here. Na-na! Which turns out to be something called a fire dragon, as opposed to all of the other kinds of... Although, to be perfectly honest, if you're a D&D fan, you are going, well, there are a lot of other kinds of dragons. It's ice dragons and shadow dragons and steel dragons.
Kidding.
And,
there's like 2 or 3 dozen types of dragons.
More dragons.
It's been a long time since we played, though. They probably got more than that
More
now.
dragons than you can shake a +5 Holy Avenger at. So, the fire dragon attacks... Nerd alert. Woo! So, the fire dragon winds up attacking Tokyo and burning it. Hello, fire dragon. And also manages to the fire dragon wrecks the control center on Ogasawara. I am really sorry, anybody from Japan. We are mangling your beautiful language, and we're just a bunch of dumb gaijins. Sorry. Godzilla winds up attacking the base, the aliens' underground base, and the thing is, they're not under anybody's control anymore. So as opposed to just like shuffling off or attacking each other, they're all like, "Oh no, you made us do shit we didn't want to do. Your butts are ours now."
Language.
Sorry. And Godzilla's basically determined. You can tell from the way that the actor in the suit is, he really is putting forward the idea that Godzilla's like, I'm going to go into this place, I'm going to drag all you people out and bite your heads off individually. I am that pissed off. At least that's what I got out of it. Because Godzilla's whole thing is, you made me act like a damn trained monkey, and I am not happy. So there's one of the human characters in the film that we actually sort of are supposed to care about. We don't
really know.
Captain Yamabe chases after the fire dragon in a ship called the SY-3 and manages to destroy
it, because it turns out the fire dragon is actually a spaceship.
Yeah, it's actually not even a real monster. It's one of the alien saucers that they set on fire, and it winds up being destroyed, and the aliens wind up being destroyed. And the monsters, instead of being like, okay, now let's see, what can we do now? Okay, we're on land and there's a bunch of buildings we haven't knocked over yet. Instead of doing that, they all leave. They all go back on their own to Monsterland because
they're buddies.
Because they want to. Well, I think it's more because they realize if we go back there, the little annoying things that scream at us won't shoot at us.
Yeah.
I think that's more why they go back.
Possibly.
Then they're probably all just tired. They fought a giant 3-headed dragon, for crying out loud. I think they deserve a little rest.
Right. I have a question.
Of course
This is a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm something I've always been curious about when it comes to King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Does he have one brain, or does each head have a brain? Are they controlled by one? Because I know that the 2 side heads are basically arms for the character. They bite things and grab things, and the middle head does all the, navigation and stuff. I've never thought about that before, but it's like, is Ghidorah, is it like a collective, like a hive brain?
Like a hive mind? I actually don't know.
They've never said that. That's an interesting concept. I can't think that they would have 3 separate brains, because they would never be in sync with each other.
No. I wouldn't think so, no.
I don't know. That just popped into my head.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I was a big fan of a series online a while ago called Mystery Kaiju Theater 3000. And it was what it sounds like it was. It was Godzilla and Ghidorah and some other, I forget who else, might have been, I forget who it was, the other one, reading bad fic. And whenever Ghidorah spoke, he used the royal we. Everything was, well, we think this and we think that.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
At the first time, it was like, I don't get it. Oh, wait, I get it now. That's funny. Yeah. I'm like, that's funny. And he is a king, so he would use the royal we. Mm-hmm. But, that's a really good question. I've always assumed that it was one mind.
It's gotta be. I would think it would have to be.
Yeah.
There's no way they could coexist. It's an interesting thought. We should look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, actually we should.
Because it just popped into my head.
No, that's a really good idea.
This movie did introduce new costumes of sorts, revised costumes for Godzilla and Anguirus. Rodan and King Ghidorah suits were modified from previous films. And in fact, they took some of the detail out of King Ghidorah for this. It was done on a very limited budget. And
well, by this point, the Godzilla films were actually starting to... They weren't...
They were running their course by this point.
They were waning in popularity. It wasn't a case of...
I can't think of why they were releasing one every year. It's like why did Disney suddenly pull back on the Star Wars things? Because you can't do them every year and have people not be satisfied.
Yeah, suffer from burnout.
You want to anticipate.
You want people to whet people's appetite. Yeah,
right.
And when you do a movie and it's like, oh, we're going to give you the backstory of a beloved character that you asked for, and the fans go, no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. I mean, it was a fun movie. Solo was a fun movie, but
it was still fun. We didn't ask for it.
And Alden Ehrenreich, who I like as an actor, no, I'm sorry, he just doesn't come anywhere near making me think he's going to grow up in 5 years to be Harrison Ford.
They should have just done the de-aging program they used on Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel.
I don't know if they could have de-aged Harrison that much. That would have been 50 years off of him.
I know.
Anyway.
So it's not that this is a bad film. I mean, it's not
as bad as the next one in the series, which we'll get to tomorrow.
I like the next one, and I'll tell you why when we talk about it. But I just feel like this one it's not terrible. It's not one of my favorites, simply because it's not one of my favorites because the aliens are so boring. The alien invaders are, they're these very smiling, placid-looking, very calm women. And I realize some people might be like, well, that's really frightening in and of itself when you've got this kind of Stepford wife calmness to these characters.
But not all aliens can be the Crankork chickens,
No, well, no, I'm not saying that even. I'm just saying that, I realize you don't have to have an alien invader thing where it's all, chewing scenery, foaming at the mouth kind of stuff. I get that. But you have to have an undercurrent of menace, and I didn't even feel that. But that's just me. That's just my take on it,
Tomorrow, on our quest through the month toward the next Godzilla film, we will get into a movie that she likes and I'm not really that fond of. I mean, it's okay, and I'm sure we'll talk about why on tomorrow's show. Coming up on the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown, we will do All Monsters Attack, and that is tomorrow.
Yep.
Until then, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Keep stomping on.
Bye now.
You've been listening to the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown from Subject Cinema, Kaiju Corner at eCinemaOne.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.